Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of You're Wrong and I'm Always Right. And today we're going to be looking at a short Mikhaila Peterson posted to her YouTube channel claiming a vegan diet is unsustainable and all that other crap. This should be a quick one. So without further ado, let's take a look at the nonsense.
I don't think veganism is sustainable long-term at all. I think it causes muscle loss.
So a vegan diet is unsustainable long-term and you're going to lose muscle. Well, I've been on a vegan diet for 13 years, and if anything, looks like I gained muscle. I've also been able to bench 410 pounds without the use of any steroids or performance-enhancing drugs. That's not something that many people can do, and I literally have not seen anybody who has followed a carnivore diet long-term being able to bench that kind of weight. I even tried to do a Google search, trying to see if anybody who's been following a carnivore diet for even a few years. I have not been able to see any carnivore dieters bench that sort of weight. They may be out there, but I literally haven't seen any of them being able to do it. I even recently did a debate with Carnivore Muscle, a guy on YouTube who follows a carnivore diet. He's a bodybuilder, he even takes steroids, and even he cannot bench that kind of weight. So if I'm an example, then it looks like a vegan diet is in fact sustainable long-term, and you're not going to lose muscle just from being on a vegan diet. What's also incredibly hypocritical here is that Mikhaila Peterson doesn't really have any muscle tone. She's skinny, she's not strong, she's weak, unfit, and she admits herself she doesn't exercise.
I don't exercise. I don't. I should. I feel better when I do, but I haven't been because my life's been hectic for 29 years, really, particularly the last 5 or so. Plus, I was so sick to begin with that I didn't have any energy.
So Mikhaila Peterson's excuse for why she's so weak and skinny and unfit is her life is just too hectic. Well, this is a wealthy woman who is paying for 2 full-time nannies to take care of her children, but somehow she still can't find time to exercise.
How do you manage to work so much with a baby and a 6-year-old? So I work from home, but I have a rota nanny that lives with me. A rota nanny means a rotational nanny. So I have 2 ladies that swap out every 2 weeks, so nobody gets exhausted. So I have 24/7 baby care if I need it.
So this woman is a massive liar who loves to make excuses. She claims that a vegan diet will cause you to lose muscle, but she doesn't have any muscle herself while on her carnivore diet. She's weak and skinny, and her only excuse is, my life is too hectic to go to the gym. But clearly it isn't. She's paying for 2 full-time nannies that are taking care of her kids. This is a wealthy woman who has every opportunity to go to the gym, lift weights, get bigger and stronger, but she doesn't, and I'd imagine that's partly because her terrible, stupid, restrictive carnivore diet doesn't give her the energy to have any motivation to exercise. So who is she telling vegans that you're gonna lose muscle? And I do know Mikhaila Peterson's husband goes to the gym and weight trains. I don't know if he's on a carnivore diet or not, but I know he's not vegan. So what's the excuse there? Why am I so much bigger and stronger than your husband despite being vegan? I thought a vegan diet made you lose muscle. Let's see your husband bench 410 pounds like I can. I sure as hell know he can't do it. So did you marry a beta male? Does your husband just have the weak beta male genes? Or is it the case that a vegan diet doesn't make you lose muscle mass? And speaking of sustainability, there are an innumerable amount of anecdotes that you can find online with people just trying a carnivore diet, even in the short term, experiencing pretty bad side effects like irregular heartbeats, muscle cramping, skin issues, digestive issues, and even big carnivore diet influencers like Paul Saladino going off the carnivore diet because they admit it is not sustainable for most people long term.
It's about 2 years into the carnivore diet, I started noticing persistence of unpleasant symptoms. So testosterone dropped to around 500 total, sleep disturbances, palpitations, muscle cramps when I was surfing or climbing. And I started to think, okay, maybe long-term ketosis is not great for me. And I was definitely in ketosis at the time, monitoring blood ketones with a meter, not deep ketosis, but definitely ketosis. And so at that point, I started to dig into the research a little bit more and understood that insulin signaling is critical at the level of the kidney to hold on to minerals, to hold on to potassium, calcium, sodium, chloride, magnesium, and that in long-term ketosis in most humans, you're going to become so electrolyte depleted that it's almost impossible to resolve that with enormous amounts of electrolytes, right? You can take all of the electrolytes you want. You can do so much salt. Your body's really not going to be able to hold on to those without some sort of an insulin signal at the level of the kidney. I've experienced this. Tons of people experience this with long-term ketosis. So at that point, I had to really kind of look at what I was doing and make this sort of learning judgment that long-term ketosis was not a great thing for me and probably not a great thing for most humans. And at that point, I added honey and then fruit to my diet, and it's been an evolution since then for probably the last 3 years. So now I've been eating fruit, honey as my main sources of carbohydrates.
So a carnivore diet gives men low testosterone, causes dehydration, makes you deficient in minerals, gives you sleep disturbances, muscle cramps. But yeah, the diet is definitely sustainable long term.
And I don't think that you can add in different supplements to get everything you could be getting from meat. So I'm not a fan of veganism.
So Mikhaila Peterson is a complete lying hypocrite here because she's claiming a vegan diet is deficient in vitamins and minerals and not even supplements will help you cover that gap. But Mikhaila Peterson's diet is deficient in vitamins and minerals, and she has taken supplements to fill that gap. Now, one of the most common vitamin deficiencies you're going to see on a carnivore diet is folate deficiencies. Folate is mostly found in high-fiber plant foods, and if you're not eating those foods, and you're only eating skeletal muscle tissue like Mikhaila Peterson on her lion diet, you are going to become folate deficient. Now, this is especially dangerous if you're pregnant, because folate deficiencies cause neural tube defects in children, and if you have a pregnancy where you are deficient in folate, you can cause your child to be mentally disabled and physically disabled, and Mikhaila Peterson knew this, so she was taking folate injections during her pregnancy.
Any food or supplement you recommend for pregnancy, I think on any restricted diet and any diet, it's just the standard American diet for sure, you should be monitoring your vitamins. I know now that your vitamin levels aren't just from what you eat, they're also from your environment. My vitamin levels were totally fine for like 5 years, and then I moved into this particularly moldy house that made me really sick, and a whole bunch of them plummeted. This was right before I got pregnant. So fortunately, I had started supplementing the really deficient vitamins prior to pregnancy. So folate, for example, I was taking by injection.
Now, Mikhaila Peterson said her folate deficiency was caused by mold. That's just an absolute lie. This is a predictable deficiency that you see in many people going on the carnivore diet. Mikhaila Peterson also doesn't eat any organs. She admits this herself.
Are you eating organ meat now for the baby? Hell no, okay? This diet's hard enough with a meat aversion. I don't like organs. The idea of liver is so nauseating.
So the idea that her folate deficiency was caused by mold is just absolutely ridiculous. It's caused by her overly restrictive diet, and even she admits her diet is overly restrictive and nobody should be eating like her.
By no means do I think that you should be only eating beef like me. It doesn't even feel like that's what I should be doing. Right? Like, the fact that I wanted a cucumber so badly is just like, it's just some vegetables. Like, it's not that big a deal.
So this weak, skinny, unfit woman who admits her diet is stupid, overly restrictive, who has had to take vitamin and mineral supplements during her pregnancy because her overly restrictive diet put her children at risk of physical and mental disabilities, is telling you a vegan diet is unsustainable long-term and will make you lose muscle. I hope over the course of this video you have learned that Mikhaila Peterson is not someone you should take seriously, and she is completely and utterly full of shit.